Have you ever wondered why the gentlest soul can become the most terrifying presence to someone who feeds on control? In the delicate dance between light and shadow, the exceptional empath holds a mirror so clear, so unwavering, that even the most armored heart cannot escape its reflection. This is not about revenge, this is not about cruelty. This is about what happens when authenticity meets illusion, when genuine compassion encounters manufactured charm, when the immovable truth stands before the ever-shifting facade. Thank you for joining this exploration of consciousness and human dynamics. Picture this moment. A renowned counselor opens the doors to a radical empathy workshop. Among the participants sits a celebrated online personality, someone who has built their empire on charm and charisma. They arrive expecting the usual: admiration, attention, the familiar fuel that powers their carefully constructed image. But something unexpected unfolds. A participant, radiating quiet strength, begins to interact with them differently. No excessive praise, no emotional reactions to their provocations, just steady presence, clear boundaries, and unwavering compassion. Have you noticed how certain people seem to drain your energy while others restore it? The narcissist operates like a black hole, constantly pulling emotional resources toward themselves. They've mastered the art of extraction. Your attention, your admiration, your very life force becomes their sustenance. But what happens when they encounter someone who refuses to be consumed? The exceptional empath doesn't fight this gravitational pull. They simply exist outside its reach. They possess something the narcissist cannot comprehend: self-sufficiency in love. Consider how a mirror works. It doesn't judge what it reflects. It doesn't distort or enhance. It simply shows what is. The exceptional empath becomes this mirror through their capacity for cognitive empathy. They see the patterns, anticipate the manipulations, understand the triggers. Yet unlike the narcissist who uses this knowledge as a weapon, the empath wields it as a shield. They know when the compliment is bait. They recognize when the crisis is manufactured. They see through the performance to the frightened child beneath. Do you understand the difference between emotional empathy and cognitive empathy? The narcissist possesses the latter. They can read people like books, predict reactions, manipulate outcomes, but they lack the former, the ability to truly feel with another person. The exceptional empath has both. This creates a fascinating dynamic. The narcissist's usual tactics become transparent. Their emotional chess moves are countered not with aggression, but with calm understanding. "I see what you're doing," the empath's presence whispers, "and I choose not to play." The first wound comes through emotional starvation. Imagine you've lived your entire life believing you need constant applause to survive. Every interaction is a performance, every relationship a stage. Then you meet someone who refuses to clap. Not out of cruelty, but because they see no show, only a person. The narcissist experiences this as abandonment, as rejection, as torture. Their emotional food source has been cut off. The empath isn't withholding love. They're offering something far more threatening: reality. Have you ever tried to manipulate someone who sees right through you? The frustration is unbearable. Every trick in your arsenal becomes useless. Every charm offensive falls flat. The narcissist, accustomed to emotional puppeteering, finds their strings cut. The empath responds to rage with compassion, to manipulation, with boundaries, to false tears, with genuine concern for the pain beneath. This unexpected response system creates cognitive dissonance. The narcissist's internal programming cannot compute. Their reality begins to crack. The second phase of this dynamic involves the establishment of boundaries, those invisible lines that define where one person ends and another begins. To the narcissist, boundaries feel like prison walls. They're accustomed to bleeding into others, absorbing their energy, colonizing their emotional space. The exceptional empath's boundaries are different. They're not built from anger or fear. They're constructed from self-respect and compassion, for themselves and for the narcissist. Watch what happens when you tell someone who believes they own you that they don't. The narcissist experiences this as a narcissistic injury, a wound to their false self so deep it threatens their entire identity structure. They may rage, they may plead, they may threaten, The empath remains steady. I care about you, their actions say, but I will not sacrifice myself to feed your emptiness. This consistency is maddening to someone who has always won through persistence, through wearing others down. Do you know what it feels like to have your own weapons turned against you? The exceptional empath possesses a unique ability. They can mirror the narcissist's tactics without becoming narcissistic themselves. When the narcissist withdraws affection as punishment, the empath responds with calm detachment. When the narcissist creates drama, the empath maintains peace. This reflection serves a purpose. It shows the narcissist how their behavior feels from the receiving end. It's like forcing someone to taste their own medicine, drop by therapeutic drop. The workshop continues. Our online celebrity finds themselves increasingly agitated. Their usual strategies, love bombing, gaslighting, emotional manipulation, meet an immovable force. The empath participant doesn't fight back. They simply exist in their truth. When criticized, they consider the feedback without crumbling. When praised excessively, they receive it without inflating. They've become what the narcissist fears most, someone who doesn't need them. Here's where the dynamic becomes profound. The exceptional empath's greatest weapon isn't a weapon at all. It's authenticity. They offer genuine feedback instead of false flattery. They speak truth instead of comfortable lies. To someone whose entire existence is built on a carefully maintained facade, this honesty is devastating. It's like watching a house of cards face a gentle but persistent breeze. Each truthful observation removes another card. The structure becomes increasingly unstable. Have you ever been seen, truly seen by someone when you're not ready? The narcissist has spent their lifetime avoiding this very experience. They've constructed elaborate defenses, multiple masks, false selves upon false selves. The exceptional empath sees through all of it, not with judgment but with clarity. They see the wounded child, the frightened soul, the person behind the persona. This level of visibility is unbearable to someone who has made invisibility their art. The torture intensifies through consistency. The narcissist is accustomed to breaking people down, to finding their weak points and exploiting them. But the exceptional empath has done their inner work. They've integrated their shadows, healed their wounds, found their center. There's nothing to exploit. Every probe meets solid ground. Every attack encounters love. This reliability, this unshakable presence, drives the narcissist to distraction. They're fighting an opponent who refuses to fight. Consider the power of emotional honesty in a world of manipulation. When the narcissist projects their shame, the empath doesn't accept it. When blame is thrown, it finds no target. The empath has mastered the art of differentiation. They know what belongs to them and what doesn't. This creates a crisis for the narcissist. Their usual dumping ground for unwanted emotions has been sealed off. They're left holding their own pain, their own shame, their own fear. For perhaps the first time, they must face themselves. The workshop reaches its climax. Our celebrated narcissist sits in unprecedented silence. The empath participant has systematically dismantled every defense, not through aggression, but through presence. They've reflected every manipulation back to its source. They've maintained boundaries that feel like prison walls to someone accustomed to emotional trespassing. They've offered love without conditions, truth without compromise, presence without wavering. Do you understand what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? In this case, the force exhausts itself against the object's calm resistance. The narcissist, depleted of their usual fuel sources, stripped of their manipulative power, faced with their own reflection, experiences something they've spent their lifetime avoiding: themselves. The empath hasn't tortured them through cruelty. They've simply refused to participate in the narcissist's self-deception. The final twist in this dynamic is perhaps the most profound. The exceptional empath's torture is actually an invitation to healing. Every boundary is a teaching. Every reflection is an opportunity. Every moment of authentic presence is a doorway to transformation. The narcissist experiences this as torture only because they're not ready for the medicine being offered. It's like offering water to someone who has convinced themselves they're a fish. The very thing that could save them feels like drowning. What would happen if you stopped feeding someone's false self? What if you loved them enough to show them truth? The exceptional empath walks this razor's edge. They're not trying to hurt the narcissist, they're trying to free them. But freedom to someone who has made a prison their home feels like the ultimate threat. The bars they've built to keep others out also keep them in. The empath's presence illuminates this paradox. It shows them their cage. Whether they choose to leave it, that's another story entirely. In the garden of consciousness, some seeds need darkness to germinate, but all need light to grow. Have you found yourself in dynamics where your kindness is exploited, where your empathy becomes a weapon used against you? The exceptional empath has learned to transcend this trap. They've discovered that true compassion includes boundaries, that genuine love includes truth, that authentic presence includes the courage to not enable. They become mirrors not out of cruelty, but out of the deepest kindness, the kindness that sees someone's potential for wholeness and refuses to settle for their fragmentation. Ask yourself, in your relationships, are you feeding someone's authenticity or their facade? Are you enabling their growth or their stagnation? Are you participating in truth or deception? The exceptional empath's power lies not in what they do, but in what they refuse to do. They refuse to play games. They refuse to accept projections. They refuse to sacrifice their truth for someone else's comfort. In this refusal lies their strength. In this strength lies the narcissist's torture. In this torture lies the possibility, just possibility, of transformation. See you next time. Keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and your spirit evolving.